ordered some rain for tomorrow. The sky will be sunny but wet. Right out of nowhere, you're suddenly there. And I say, pardon me, haven't we met? I've ordered some sunshine with showers, and I've got my scenery set. Right there with the thump, our umbrellas will bump, and I'll say, pardon me, haven't we met? Accidents can happen, into one I'm gonna slide. There's a good chance in finding romance when two hearts collide. And I know that's just how it happened when Romeo met Juliet. Somewhere I read that Romeo said, pardon me, haven't we met? Accidents can happen, into one I'm gonna slide. There's a good chance in finding romance when two hearts collide. Into love we'll slide, and I know that's just how it happened when Romeo met Juliet. Somewhere I read that Romeo said, pardon me. He said, pardon me. And I say, pardon me, haven't we met? Haven't we met? Haven't we met? Haven't we met? Billy's Place, the vibe is light and breezy. Billy's Place, it's a virtual speakeasy. My home base, I'm glad that you dropped by. Time to grab a libation from the shelf. Have whatever you want, make it yourself. Sit back, relax, I'll make your troubles fly. A musical trip, nothing complicated, and if you tip, that's appreciated. Good fellowship with no mask on our face. From apartment 5 across the park, I'm singing and swinging till it gets dark. Don't worry about finding a place to park, just park it at Billy's Place. Park it at Billy's Place. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special Tuesday night edition of Billy's Place. It is September 21st, Tuesday, and tonight I'm shining the spotlight on one of my idols of all time, the great Mel Tormé, and a little tip of the hat also to a great MGM star who we lost last week, but who will be remembered always, the great Jane Powell. So I'm glad that you're here with me on Tuesday night. Sit back, relax. Gonna do some nice music for you. And, forget about everything for an hour. And just park it at Billy's Place. Here's a song from a 1948 film called A Date with Judy, introduced by Jane Powell, and I'm going to feed it into another Mel Tormé song from a film called New York on Sunday. It's a most unusual day, feel like throwing my worries away. As an old native-born Californian, Californian would say it's a most unusual day. There's a most unusual sky, not a sign of a cloud passing by. And if I want to sing, throw my heart in the ring, it's a most unusual day. There are people meeting people, there is sunshine everywhere. There are people greeting people, and a feeling of spring in the air. It's a most unusual time. I keep feeling my temperature climb. If my heart won't behave in the usual way, well, there's only one thing to say. It's a most unusual, most unusual, most unusual day. New York on Sunday, big city taking a nap. Slow down, it's Sunday, life's a ball, let it fall right in your lap. If you've got troubles, just take them out for a walk. They'll burst like bubbles in the fun of a Sunday in New York. You can spend time without spending a dime, watching people watch people pass. And later you pause, and in one of the stores there's that face next to yours in the glass. Two hearts stop beating, you're both too breathless to speak. Love smiles her greeting, and the dream that has seen you through the week comes true on Sunday in New York. So you can take a short nautical break. There are boats by the lake for hire, and if it should storm, you may get on home and get cozy and warm by a fire. By Monday morning, you're both agreed it was fate. As day comes dawning, if you can't pick a spot or set a date, you met on Sunday, New York on Sunday, so make it Sunday in New York, in New York. Hi, everybody. Well, it's Tuesday in New York, and I am so glad that you're with us for this special show. Mel Tormé just, meant a great deal to me. I was very aware of Mel Tormé growing up. I think I had probably seen him on Carol Burnett's show, and certainly Lucille Ball always liked to use him on her shows. And but it wasn't until I heard an album of Mel's called Live with Friends at Marty's that was recorded at a East Side nightclub. When I was probably 18, I heard this album, and boy, it really, really turned me around musically. I love the way he sang. I love the way he swinged. I loved the way he scat sings. I love just everything about him. And so from that point on, I really took deep dives into Mel Tormé. And then when I was singing with my vocal group, soloing with my group all through my 20s, people would say, "God, you kind of remind me. Your voice kind of reminds me of Mel Tormé," which is wonderful praise. I guess we have the same sort of timbre in our voice, but so he was always somebody who I really, really loved. And when my group was working quite a lot in the late 80s in New York and also abroad, and starting to do the jazz festival circuit. It was a group called Montgomery Plant and Stritch, me and two ladies, and singing 3-part harmony and jazz and swing and comedy songs, and we had it was pretty much a cabaret act, but we could make it very jazzy for the jazz festivals. And so we actually had the chance to open for Mel Tormé one night at Carnegie Hall in 1988 as part of the JVC Jazz Festival. We opened for him, and he could not have been nicer. We showed up that afternoon to do our sound check, and not expecting to actually meet him that afternoon. I mean, we had done other gigs where we had opened for, big stars, and, a lot of the times you wouldn't even meet the person, or certainly not before showtime. And we show up to do our sound check, and we start doing our songs, and I look down, and seated right on the first row was Mel Tormé, and he listened to our entire 8-song set. And then afterwards, he came up and he offered some beautiful suggestions. He said, "I think the song that you're opening with is really better as a closer. I mean, and maybe the closer is going to be better." He really switched it around. It really totally made more sense. And he didn't have to do that. He was very generous with his time and his talent and his opinions. And so I loved him for that. And of course, that was a big deal for my whole family in Texas. Everybody flew up for that show. My grandmother, my parents, my siblings, and everybody at Carnegie Hall. It was quite something. My grandmother just pushed her way into his dressing room after the show. There was about 100 people backstage, and she was just determined to meet him, and there was no stopping my grandma. So he was great to her, and he wrote her a really sweet note. She wrote him a note a few weeks later, and he wrote right back, and just wonderful. And so that was really the first time that I had met Mel. I had seen him in concerts at nightclubs. He used to work a place called Michael's Pub, also another club that my friend Bob Esty owned called the Park 10. So I'd seen him a lot, but that was the first time I met him. And I met him a few times after that out in California. Anyway, I'm going on and on. There's so much great music to celebrate. Mel's birthday was September 13th. And when it rolled around again, I thought it would be a good chance to sing more Mel stuff. I did a Mel Tormé tribute about a year ago. It was episode 18, I believe, and this is episode 62. How did that happen? Anyway, so here I am singing more Mel Tormé songs. Before I get going with it, though, I want to thank you for tuning in. If you're able to send in any tips, that is really greatly appreciated, because we do, we've invested money in a new mixing board a few weeks ago, and a new monitor for Doug. He's sitting right off my eye line there. He can see everything that's going on, and there's always upkeep. So there are a couple of ways you can do that via PayPal or Venmo, and the addresses, my handle on both of those apps is on the screen. And also, if you don't want to use either one of those, you can certainly write me via the Facebook Messenger app, and I will send you an address, and you can send a check, and that's all appreciated. As the song says, if you tip, that's appreciated. A couple more things. YouTube. I have a YouTube channel called Billy Stritch, and all these shows are uploaded, so you can go back and watch any of the 62 episodes. But while you go visit my channel there, please take a moment to subscribe. Just hit that little red subscribe button. And also Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram. It's Billy Stritch. And I'm posting regular things from my career and just funny things, and always information about my upcoming gigs. And neither one of those cost anything, and nobody will call you or bother you. But it would be great if you would follow me there and subscribe on YouTube. And also, just real quickly, a lot of the music I'm doing tonight is music I featured on a CD a few years ago called Billy Stritch Sings Mel Tormé. And it is available at my website, billystritch.com, as is my most recent album, Billy's Place. So if you're interested in either one of those or the other ones for sale, please go to my website and you can buy it there, and I will sign them and send them to you. All right, this is a song that Mel Tormé introduced. Well, he didn't introduce the song. This song was already a big hit for many, many years, but he sang it in a film called Words and Music. It was the biopic of of Lawrence Hart. Mickey Rooney played Hart. Tom Drake played Richard Rogers. It's the story of Rogers and Hart, highly fictionalized. But Mel Tormé plays the pivotal role of a band leader named Mel, and he sings this great song. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms will ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue hanging on to that last note for dear life. Blue Moon by Rogers and Hart. Such a great old song, right? Also, I didn't mention that I am drinking tonight a drink called the Velvet Fog. And a couple of these, and I will definitely be in a velvet fog. But it is very delicious. Cheers, everybody. This song is a song that Mel says was the first song that he ever sang on a stage. And he was 4 years old when he sang this song. He was born in Chicago, Illinois, in 1925, kind of, dark times. But the family loved to listen to radio. And one of the big bands that played, the big orchestras that played on the radio was the Coon Sanders Orchestra. They would broadcast every Sunday night from the Black Hawk Restaurant in downtown Chicago. And so the family would listen to the band, and Mel, from the time he was one, evidently was like, standing up in his crib and singing perfectly in tune, perfectly in rhythm, just really had the music in him. And so 1929, when Mel was 4 years old, they decided to go hear the band live one night. So they went to dinner. He and his parents and his sister went to dinner at the Black Hawk Restaurant. And once the band started to play, evidently Mel stood up in his little sailor suit and just started wailing, just singing along. And everybody thought it was just adorable. Well, on a break, some of the guys in the band came over and introduced themselves and said, there's a talent competition here every Monday, and you really ought to come in and let this kid sing in the talent show. And so they did that, and of course, little Melvin Howard Torme won the talent show at the age of 4, and the prize was $15. And he was so good that they offered him a contract on the spot to come and sing every Sunday night, 3 songs with the band, $15 a week plus dinner for the family. And $15 a week in 1929, kind of a big deal when you're 4 years old. So he kind of became the major breadwinner of the family. Anyway, this is the song, evidently, that he sang in front of that band at the age of 4. Can you imagine? You're driving me crazy. What did I do? What did I do? My tears for you, shoo-ba-doo-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-doo, make everything hazy, cloud in my skies of blue. How true were the friends who were near me to cheer me? Believe me, they knew. But you were the kind who would hurt me, desert me when I needed you. You're driving me crazy. What did I do? What did I do to you? Babe, what did I do? Could it be so bad that you would treat me the miserable way you do? I'm preaching at your mama, babe. Whatever I've done, why won't you forgive and forget and let me come running on back to you? I need you. How true were the friends who were near me to cheer me? Believe me, they knew. But you were the kind who would hurt me, desert me when I needed you. You are driving me crazy. Count Basie. What did I do to you? What did I do to you to make you go? I need you, babe. I miss you so. Why don't you pack your suitcase, come on home, 'cause I'm waiting here by a silent telephone, 'cause I love you and I need you. Whoa, what did I do? You're driving me crazy. Can you imagine a 4-year-old in front of the band, little Mel Tormé, singing a sophisticated song like that? I mean, he tore the place apart. And from then on, he was working all the time because radio was the big deal. And so he was a child star on a lot of the recurring weekly serials, daily serial shows. And then, he did that until his voice changed. And by that time, he had discovered the drums. He was still singing, of course, but he really discovered jazz. That was when the swing era was really coming in full around the late 30s. So, the rest is history. He joined a band right out of high school, the Chico Marx Orchestra. They toured for a while and then ended the tour in Hollywood. And there Mel stayed. He was there at a very young age, probably age of 19. And he made his mark with a group called Mel Tormé and the Meltones. And he was in a film in 1943, I believe, called Higher and Higher, which I think he thought that was going to be like, an explosion for him. Unfortunately, it was also the debut of another singer named Frank Sinatra. So, but Mel did films. He did films for MGM. He also did a lot of writing at that point, and mainly with a partner named Bob Wells. And they wrote, that very famous Christmas song. But this is another song that they wrote that got quite a bit of traction at the time. Very sophisticated for two young guys to write. It's called Born to be Blue. Some folks are meant to live in clover, but they are such a chosen few. And clover being green is something I've never seen, for I was born to be blue. When there's a yellow moon above me, they say there's moonbeams I can view. But moonbeams being gold is something I can't behold, for I was born to be blue. When you were here, the world was bright and sunny. When you left, the curtain fell. I'd like to laugh, but nothing strikes me funny. Now my world's a faded pastel. Well, I guess I'm luckier than some men. I've known the thrill of loving you, and that alone is more than I was created for. For I was born to be blue. I'd like to laugh, but nothing strikes me funny. Now my world's a faded pastel. Well, I guess I'm luckier than some men. I've known the thrill of loving you, and that alone is more than I was created for. For I was born to be blue. Born to be Blue by Mel Tormé and Bob Wells. Great song, right? Ooh, so film noir. It's like song noir to me. Very deep and rich and great images and bluesy. I love it so much. That's also on the CD I mentioned earlier. If you're just joining us, it's Billy's Place, and I'm your host, Billy Stritch. Tonight we're singing songs of Mel Tormé, who just was just an idol of mine, and always will be known as one of the finest jazz singers of all time. Mel introduced me to quite a few songs that I didn't know. This next song is a song that I never had heard anybody sing before. And then when I researched it, I found out, well, it was written by Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein for the revival of the show Showboat. Showboat was originally on Broadway, I believe, 1925. And it was like a huge, big breakout hit. Most shows at that time, they would run a couple of months. Wasn't a big deal. There were just hundreds of shows. But that show ran a long time. And 20 years later, in 1945, it had a big revival. And I think it was probably the first show to be revived, to be considered so beloved that they wanted to bring it back for a new generation. So this was a song that was added to that revival. And in the revival in the show, it's done very straight, like very sweet, but it really makes a nice swingy tune. And Mel was the first person that I ever heard sing it. This is called Nobody Else But Me. I wanna be no one but me. I am in love with a lover who likes me the way I am. I have my faults, she likes my faults. I'm not very bright, she's not very bright. She thinks I'm grand, that's grand for me. We may be wrong, but if we get along, what do we care, say we? When she holds me close, close as we can be, I am the lad who is grateful and glad that I'm nobody else but me. But me, I am in love with a lover who likes me the way I am. I have my faults, she likes my faults. I'm not very bright, but she's not very bright, and she thinks I'm grand. That's grand for me. We may be wrong, but if we get along, what do we care, say we? Walking on the shore, swimming in the sea, I am the lad who is grateful and glad to be nobody else. I'm glad I'm no one else but me, just me, nobody else but me. Great tune by Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein from Showboat. Mel Tormé, man, he really recorded great music, and he was able to take some great songs and really put his own stamp on them, and that is definitely one of those. This next song is a song that Mel recorded on an album, and I always get the title mixed up. It's either I Dig the Count, I Dig the Duke, or I Dig the Duke, I Dig the Count. Needless to say, it's songs of Duke Ellington and Count Basie. And this song falls under the Duke Ellington banner. This song was written by another one of my favorite singers, who was also a fantastic songwriter as well. The great Peggy Lee wrote this song with Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington actually composed this to be an instrumental piece. It's in his part of his great score for the Otto Preminger film called Anatomy of a Murder. It's got this great jazz score with the blaring horns and, just very hip for the time. I believe 1959 maybe. There's a scene where Jimmy Stewart is fly fishing and this music plays underneath it. Well, Peggy Lee loved the tune and asked Duke Ellington if she could play some lyrics to it, which she did. And she sang it. Lots of people picked up on it. Mel Tormé sang it on that album. It's called I'm Gonna Go Fishing. Okay, here we go. Ready? Woke up this morning wanting to cry. Then I remembered, yes, I knew why. She's a real good one for having her cake. I'm gonna go fishing and jump in a lake. Yeah, I'm gonna go fishing. That's what I'll do. Think about nothing, not even you. Catch a real big one, a big speckled trout, snapping in the water and pull him all out. Sweet talking liar, spin me a yarn, tell me a story big as a barn. Don't stop listening, I won't hear you out. I'm gonna go fishing and catch me a trout. If a gal is a liar, a gal is a fool, playing for keepers, breaking the rules. She'll be the loser, yet to find out. I'm gonna go fishing and catch me a trout. Yeah! Here in the water, look at him shine. There goes a big one. Oh, that one is mine. Cast up the reel now, I got the feel now. Hooked on my fly rod, I got me a trout. Sweet talking liar, you're in for a fall. Tell me a story, you talk to the wall. Gonna go my way on down the highway. I'm gonna go fishing now. Oh, I'm gonna go fishing. Oh, I'm gonna go fishing and catch me a trout. I'm gonna go fishing from Anatomy of a Murder. Peggy Lee and Duke Ellington. That's a good song too. I gotta catch my breath. Singing Mel Tormé songs tonight. They're all so good. And, I've been doing them for a long time. I recorded that album a few years ago, and then I traveled around the country doing a tribute to Mel Tormé. And I haven't done it in a few years, and I'm thinking I might expand it a little bit and bring it back because a lot of people haven't seen it, and I just love singing the music. I really do. So anyway, if you're just tuning in, I'm Billy Stritch, and if you're enjoying the show and you're able to spare a little money for a tip for the production, that would be greatly appreciated. The PayPal and Venmo addresses are on the screen. Doug's just put them on the screen. How are we doing, Doug, tonight? We got good people watching. Got a nice crowd. Okay, good. So Tuesday's okay. It's working out. We got. That's good. So far, so good, right? We were worried about moving the show to Tuesday, but it couldn't be helped this week. Anyway, next week we'll be back at the Thursday time. Anyway, Jane Powell. I wanted to acknowledge that because just as we were starting the show last Thursday, is when I happened to pick up the phone. I got an alert. Actually, one of my Facebook friends sent me a link saying that she had just passed away that day, and it was kind of too late to acknowledge it in the show last week or really do anything special about it. But I just loved her. She had she didn't make a ton of films. I was reading her biography. I think she only made maybe 18 or 20 films, but she really did make her mark from a very young age. She grew up in Portland, Oregon, and she started dance lessons when she was 2 years old, and was performing at the age of 6. It wasn't an easy upbringing. From what I read, they struggled, and her mother was not easy. And anyway, she got to Hollywood. She changed her name, got to Hollywood, and was discovered at a very young age. And she made some films early on. One of the films that she made, I sang a song from earlier. It was called A Date with Judy, 1948. And that film also has a very young Elizabeth Taylor and Carmen Miranda and I think Wallace Beery. I think at the end of the film, they sing It's a Most Unusual Day, and you can hear Wallace Beery, It's a most unusual day. They're all singing along. But that song was originated and introduced by Jane Powell, as were these next two songs from a movie that I really love from MGM in 1951. It's a film called Royal Wedding, and it co-stars Fred Astaire. I believe it was originally supposed to star June Allison, and June Allison got pregnant, and so she was replaced with Judy Garland, and Judy Garland was unable to do that, and then Jane Powell got put in that position, so she was the third person cast. But she and Fred Astaire play a brother and sister song and dance team. It's really based on Fred's story with his sister, Fred and Adele Astaire, from the 20s, before Fred was ever big in Hollywood. He had a sister that he, had 10 years of great success in New York, on the New York stage, and also in London, before he ever even went to Hollywood. And so it's really kind of based on that relationship, but it takes place around the time of the wedding of Princess Elizabeth to Philip. That's who she married. 1951 is when the movie was made, and Burton Lane and Alan J. Lerner wrote a wonderful score. It's the film where Fred Astaire at one point dances on the ceiling to You're All the World to Me. Well, Jane Powell gets to sing a couple of really great ballads, and I'm going to sing them for you now. Open your eyes, there's a sapphire sky above us, high above us, made for you when you open your eyes. Open your eyes, there's a carpet of jade around us, laid around us, all for you when you open your eyes. Let me show you the sights, take you on a tour of this great new fabulous world we own, we alone. So open your eyes and you'll see how this momentary, ordinary night can seem more unreal than a dream. Too late now to forget your smile, the way we cling when we've danced a while. Too late now to forget and go on to someone new. Too late now to forget your voice, the way one word makes my heart rejoice. Too late now to imagine myself away from you. All the things we've done together, I relive when we're apart. All the tender fun together stays on in my heart. How could I ever close the door and be the way that I was before? Darling, no, no, I can't anymore. It's too late now. All the things we've done together, I relive when we're apart. They stay on in my heart. How could I ever close the door and be the same as I was before? Darling, no, no, I can't anymore. It's too late now. Jane Powell. What a fantastic presence in the movies. Got to meet her a couple times too. Doug and I were walking up 8th Avenue one afternoon, one probably Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and we saw her going into a restaurant. I said, I've met her before. We just walked right over. She could not have been nicer. She was thrilled. I said, Jane Powell. And she turned around and she was like, yes, it's me. And we chatted for a little while, and it was just great. She was just classy and sweet and wonderful. I never heard a bad thing ever said about her. So anyway, she left us, but certainly her great music and her great films never will. Anyway, back to Mel Tormé. I want to do a few more of his great songs. This next one is one that I've been doing for a long time, and I've loved this song since I was a teen. Mel Tormé took it and ran with it, and it actually became a big hit for him. He was on the middle of a tour around Great Britain, in 1950, and this is a song that was on an album that was released at that time, and there was a very famous, influential DJ in London that started playing this cut particular, and so by the time Mel finished the tour, this cut was like #1 in the UK, and then it became a big hit on the jazz charts by the time he returned to Hollywood. the next year. It's a mainstay of my act, certainly, by Rodgers and Hart, called Mountain Greenery. On the 1st of May, it is moving day. Spring is here, so blow your job, throw your job away. Now's the time to trust to your wanderlust. In the city's dust you wait. Must you wait? Just you wait. Mountain greenery, oh, what scenery in the mountain greenery where God paints the scenery. Just two crazy people together. While you love your love, let blue skies be your coverlet. When it rains, we'll laugh at the weather. And if you're good, I'll search for wood, and you can cook while I stand looking. Beans could get no keener reception in a beanery. Bless our mountain greenery home. Sabadoo-dow, sabadoo-bow, sabadoo-doo-doo-doo-doo, ya-doo-doo-doo, sa-da-ba-da-ba-da-doo, ya-da-da-ya-da-da-ba-da-bum, bum-bum-bum-ba-da-ba-da-bum. Mosquitoes here won't bite you, dear. I'll let them sting me on my finger. We could find no keener retreat from life's machinery. Bless our mountain greenery, oh, what crazy scenery. And if you're good, I'll search for wood, and you can cook while I stand looking. We could get no keener retreat from life's machinery, and no matter where I may roam, beans could get no keener reception in a beanery. How we love sequestering where no best are pestering. We could find no keener retreat from life's machinery. Bless our mountain greenery, oh, what crazy scenery. Bless our mountain greenery, oh, mountain greenery. That one's a workout. Mountain Greenery by Rodgers and Hart, written in 1925 for a show called Garrett Gaieties. I don't think they did it like that in 1925, but it became a big jazz hit. I always say the first time I ever heard the song was sung by Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore on an episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show. Rob and Laura Petrie, so cute in their living room, singing Mountain Greenery to their party guests. So, I heard that when I was, just a kid. And that song always kind of stuck with me. This next one is a great ballad, again, written by Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein. And Mel Tormé would often include this in his shows. He always referred to this as his favorite family love song. Many men with lofty aims strive for lofty goals. Others play at smaller games, being simpler souls. I am of the latter brand. All I care to do is to find a plot of land and live there with you. Someday we'll build a home on a hilltop high, you and I, shiny and new, a cottage that two can can fill. And we would like to be called the folks who live on the hill. Someday we may be adding a thing or two, a wing or two. We will make changes as any family will, but we will always be called the folks who live on the hill. Our veranda will command a view of meadows green, the sort of view that seems to want to be seen. And when the kids grow up and leave us, we'll sit there watching the same old view, just we two, Darby and Joan, who used to be Jack and Jill. The folks who like to be called what they have always been called, the folks who live on the hill. That's the one that I love. Written by Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein, The Folks Who Live on the Hill. That was also a favorite song of Peggy Lee's, as I'm sure you know. She liked to do that one a lot. So this brings us to the end of another episode, episode 62. Just had a great time singing these songs. You know, they're very familiar to me, which is nice. I mean, I enjoy working up totally new shows every week, but it's kind of nice to kind of relax tonight and sing a lot of songs that I've been doing for a long time and share them with you. Plus the nice Jane Powell songs that I don't really sing that much, but I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back on the 30th, which is a Thursday, so we'll be back in, it's 9 days, right? Today's the last day of summer. I said it was the first day of fall, and somebody corrected me, of course. So tomorrow's the first day of fall. Anyway, so bye-bye summer. But I think next week I'll be doing some autumn songs. So if you guys have any favorite autumn type songs, please put them in Facebook Messenger. Write me a message that way, and I'll put it on my list of songs to learn. Thank you so much for tuning in. One more time, if you're able to tip, it's greatly appreciated, and you can do that via PayPal at bstritch@yahoo.com, or you can do it on Venmo at Billy-Stritch, or you can write me Facebook Messenger, and I'll send you an address, and you can send a check. It's been great singing for you tonight on a Tuesday, so I will see you next Thursday. Thank you, Doug, as always, for the lovely production. And thank you to the dogs for being quiet and low-key tonight. We liked it. I hope you did too. I'm going to close with one of Mel's very, very big hits. You've heard about Margie. You've heard about Dinah. You've heard about Susie. Ba-doo-hoo, loo-loo-loo-loo. I gotta get my old tuxedo pressed. I gotta sew a button on the vest, 'cause tonight I wanna look my best. Lulu's back in town. Gotta shine my shoes and slick my hair. Gotta find myself a boutonniere. Gotta find $50 somewhere. Lulu's back in town. You can tell all my pets, all my Harlem coquettes, Mr. Otis regrets that he won't be around. Now you can tell the mailman not to call. I ain't coming home until the fall, and I may not be back home at all. Lulu's back in town. You've heard about Margie, heard about Dinah, heard about Susie, but I gotta get my tuxedo pressed. I gotta sew a button on the vest, 'cause tonight I wanna look my best for Lulu. I gotta find a few bucks somewhere, polish up my shoes and slick my hair. Gotta find myself a boutonniere for Lulu. You can tell all my pets, all my blondes and brunettes, Mr. Otis regrets that he won't be around. Now you can tell my friends not to call. I ain't coming home till the fall. I may not be back home at all. Lulu's back in town. Lulu's back in town. Lulu's back in town. Lulu's back, yeah. Thank you very much. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye.